This is Rory live from London studios. In 1975, as Prime Minister Bhutto declared Pakistan's intent to acquire a nuclear deterrent, Mossad intensified scrutiny of Pakistan's strategic trajectory. At the same moment, Imran Khan, then a young Oxford student, began to emerge as a figure with extraordinary cross-class appeal. Western-educated, socially elite, yet culturally credible within Pakistan. His profile matched the template for a long-term influence vector, a unifying icon capable of carrying sentiment across decades without overt political positioning in the early years. From the late 1970s onward, Khan's rise followed a pattern consistent with deliberate cultivation. Cricket provided ritual visibility and mass trust under Zaya's Islamization era. The 1995 marriage into the Goldsmith family embedded him within elite Western networks, granting privileged access to media, legal protection and financial pathways. Personal scandals, the Sita White case in the 1990s, generated reputational risks, but were reframed as persecution, strengthening the brand rather than weakening it. By the 2000s, his reinvention as philanthropist and reformer was amplified by sympathetic global media coverage, while Gulf networks sustained parallel support. The culmination came in 2018 when Khan assumed the premiership. Despite adopting rhetoric of sovereignty and resistance to Western dictates, international media framing of his government was unusually protective. Such favourable coverage is rarely given to leaders of nuclear-armed states outside the Western Bloc. Even after his ouster in 2022 and his time in jail, the narrative did not fade, it grew stronger, wrapped in a new halo. Leaks, letters and diaspora-led campaigns kept Khan's story alive in Western capitals. By 2025, his sons had taken public roles, carrying the narrative forward and keeping the messaging consistent, framed to resonate with international audiences concerned with human rights and governance. The strategy is unmistakable. A sports star was transformed into a carefully engineered symbol whose reputation grew stronger with every challenge. Diaspora networks turned Pakistan's domestic disputes into stories about democracy and human rights, amplified repeatedly in London, Brussels and Washington. Advocacy in Western legislations often synced with donors and lobbying groups linked to pro-Israel circles, creating diplomatic pressure at critical moments. The net effect has been to portray Pakistan as a rights violator, complicating financing and limiting its ability to act freely on nuclear and strategic matters. While Pakistan's internal politics, Khan's genuine popularity and Gulf patronage explain parts of the story, they cannot account for the scale, sophistication and global coordination of the narrative. Even without direct evidence of Israeli involvement, the circumstantial indicators strongly suggest a long-term, externally guided influence campaign. Looking ahead, this narrative will continue through family and diaspora networks, regardless of Khan's political standing. Any assertive move by Pakistan on its nuclear program or strategic policies is likely to be reframed abroad as a crisis in governance or rights, further constraining Islamabad's options. To counter this effectively, Pakistan must take control of its narrative, employ credible third-party validators and deploy multiple messengers across global platforms. Without these steps, the country risks remaining trapped in a carefully crafted external storyline that limits its sovereignty and strategic freedom. Stay tuned for more updates on this story. Keep watching Ocean News.